Y'all, our next unit is Unit 7, World War I and the Roaring Twenties. Hopefully you already accomplished getting the vocabulary written down and defining those words. I will be releasing a key for that vocabulary on Wednesday afternoon so that you have plenty of time to make sure you got the right definitions, the definitions that I want you to have before we practice taking a quiz on Monday to see how to do that in Canvas, because I've never done that before. So we'll look at the one in Canvas and then the one in, and think about how we've taken them in SchoolNet before and decide which one we think works best, okay? So that's kind of where we're going from here. All right, so in this unit, there are three major goals that we're going to try to accomplish, okay? That you will understand the democratic ideals of neutrality and isolationism, okay? So those are two of your big vocabulary words. Which prevented the United States from joining World War I in the first 3 years. So neutrality and isolationism, those ideals go all the way back to George Washington. If you remember us talking in the beginning of the year about George Washington's farewell address, and one of the things that he talked about was maintaining international neutrality and maintaining isolationism. So think back on that as you're learning about this and see if you can make connections between how we continue that idea to this day. All right, the next one is even that you will understand that even though the United States was not physically involved in World War I, the war industry and the sale of supplies to both sides caused the economy to strengthen and grow. So this one is really interesting because we weren't involved. So we weren't actively working at war at the beginning of this war, but we were certainly involved in creating supplies and bombs and all those kinds of things, tanks, all those kinds of things. Probably not tanks, they came later. Well, we were involved in the economy of the war, in the industry of the war, and providing things sort of a little to this side, 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 trying to maintain neutrality, but it didn't really work that well. So we'll talk about how that works out too. And then the last one is that you will understand that various conflicts caused the United States to enter the war, which led to a period of economic growth. Okay, so that one's really interesting to us. We don't always think about war as being a period of economic growth, but in this particular instance, it is for the United States in World War I. Most of this information that you're going to see in the first couple of days of this unit, stuff you already know, stuff that Ms. Tapalachi taught you last year in social studies class about World War I and the entire world. But then we're going to try to really focus back in on how the United States was impacted by the war and the United States activity in that war, okay? So know that we won't spend the whole time just talking about the whole big world war. Okay, our essential questions. How do the ideals, those are basically the same as the objectives. We don't need to go through those right now. You can read them for yourself. All right, so look at all these things. Oh my heavens, right? This is all the things that you will know, right? You will know that for the majority of the war, the United States claimed neutrality, selling goods to both sides. The United States remained isolated by not entering World War I for the first 3 years. That Woodrow Wilson was narrowly reelected in 1916 using the campaign slogan, "He kept us out of war," and then they went to war, right? That German use of unrestricted submarine warfare, the sinking of the Lusitania, and the Zimmermann telegram were key events that led to the United States to declare war on April 6, 1917. Okay, so the German use of submarines, the sinking of the Lusitania, the Zimmermann telegram. These are key events. So if you don't remember those from last year, make sure you spend more time with us. Hold on just a second. Yeah. I don't think so because Daddy's in a meeting right now. So I'm just a little bit, okay? I'm going to pause you. Sorry about that. It's her daddy's birthday. She's very excited. Once involved in the war, the United States experienced a period of economic growth as factories mass-produced goods for the war. That makes sense. Woodrow Wilson presented his 14 points. Make sure you know about those 14 points. You don't have to memorize the 14 points, but know what each one of them is and how they would change life for the United States. Okay, and he used them to negotiate the Treaty of Versailles and call for the creation of the League of Nations. I'm sure that you've heard about the Treaty of Versailles and the League of Nations. Following World War I, the United States economy boomed. That's when we are having our Roaring Twenties period, and we will spend some time looking at that and talking about the Great Migration, the Harlem Renaissance, and what happens during the Roaring Twenties, right? Okay, so here's your vocabulary list. Hopefully, hopefully you guys have gone through this vocabulary at this point and you have definitions for all of these words. And again, I will go through that with you and give you a key on Wednesday. All right, so I'm asking you to go through days 1 and 2 of this slideshow. You'll see that almost all of it is videos, okay? There's a little reading for CMAP, but a lot of it is just videos for day 1 and day 2. We have vocabulary. You see the Brain Pop isn't linked. That's because it's more difficult to get into Brain Pop. So if you want to use the Brain Pop videos, some of them are free right now. So you can try that, but they won't change your educational value if you can't get to them. Okay. One of the things that I do want you to do every day is to look at the political cartoon that you see here and think about what is the cartoonist trying to say. Really analyze that idea and then take notes as you are going through each of your videos so that you have some good notes in your social studies notebook. They can be digital notes or virtual notes. As always, guys, if you have questions, if you're concerned about not being able to get access to something, please just send me an email using that email format, ER Learning and Language Arts. And we will see you at the team meeting on Thursday.